Hi guys, my name is Derek and I am from West Rand Wind and Solar Energy. So let's talk a bit about solar. Buzzword, do you need it? Can you afford it? Today we're gonna go through a short presentation of what you can do with solar. We're going to talk a bit about cost and then you can decide whether you need it. So traditionally, we've got two types of solar systems. The first one is an off-grid system. Off-grid meaning you've got no electricity available at your premises. That's normally being used for the guys out in the Texas desert, or even if you've got a little wood cabin out in Drakensberg. So that means no electricity. Whatever you want to use inside of your house, you're going to pull either from wind or solar. The second one is what we call a grid-tied system. So normally you would have your solar and or wind panels. Then you would have normal electricity into your system. So your usage would normally be from your solar. Once the solar is not charging, you then tap over to your local municipality. Then you can also feed back into your local system. Unfortunately, Eskom does not allow that. So what do you want to do? Personally, I don't think it's worthwhile running your whole house off solar. It is expensive. You're going to need a lot of panels. And electricity in SA is reasonably cheap. So I would definitely not advise to put your whole house on solar. Maybe one or two items, but you know, if you've got the money and you can afford it, go for it. So let's talk about the basic components that you need for a solar system. Obviously, number one, if we talk solar, you need solar panels. I'm not going to show you a photo. I think we all know what a solar panel looks like. The second thing that you might want to put in your system is a wind turbine. And I'll go outside and I'll take you a picture of the wind turbine that I've installed here. There is an 800 watt wind turbine. So those are your two input components. The third component you need in your system would be a charge controller. And I'm going to show you two charge controllers here. This is a very cheap charge controller, 20 amp, no LCD display. And when we go through the installation later, I'll discuss that one in a bit more detail. The second type of charge controller I want to show you is a hybrid charge controller. On this charge controller, you've got your wind turbine, you've got your solar panel, and obviously your normal DC load. That would be your second batch of components. Then a third component that is very important in any solar system would be your battery bank. I've used a normal car battery, lead acid battery, and then also you've got your deep cycle batteries. In the next video, we'll go into the differences in batteries, just sort of as an intro. Your car battery, the plates inside is much thicker. It is designed to pull a bigger amperage for a short time of period, and then it needs to be recharged very quickly. And that's why we use that in a vehicle. But when I show you Nana, it can use into a normal domestic application as well. And then obviously these are 110 ampere hour deep cycle batteries, which are being charged continuously, but you don't pull such a high amperage at one time. It continuously pulls amperage from the battery. So we've now gone through the major components you need for a solar installation. Let's go through some of the minor or not necessary components that you need. So first of all, we've got a circuit breaker here. This is a AC, a 20 amp circuit breaker. If you want to use a circuit breaker, you're supposed to use a DC circuit breaker, but the AC circuit breaker will also trip. I've tested it. I've used a 10 amp AC circuit breaker, and it definitely trips. Here we've got on your DC load, you can use a normal auto, a vehicle fuse box. And as you can see, I've got my main power in here. That is a 30 amp fuse. And then I've got my appliances over here, which I've got 20 amp fuses on. You can also use obviously the proper solar fuse. that is an 80 amp and that is a circuit breaker as well as a fuse on your battery bank. The other components in your solar system would be an inverter. You get two types of inverter. This is a modified sine wave inverter, 1000 amp. So whatever appliances, any appliance on the back, on the label, it says what sort of wattage it needs to operate. So this is a 1000 watt. As I said, it's a modified inverter. And in a later video, we'll go into the differences between a modified inverter and a pure sine wave. This is a pure sine wave inverter. It means your energy is much cleaner. And this is a 500 watt. The lithium. Okay guys, so this is a 12 volt fan, just to show you it's not 220 volt. Connected black on black, red on red, and switch it on, and there, as you can see, it works pretty decent. Put it on high speed. I think it's much more efficient than the 220 volt fan. So guys, just to show you, this is the 12 volt little kettle or urn. As you can see there, it's not plugged into 12 volt. That's my, not 220 volt, it's my 12 volt, which I've brought from my charge controller. There's your little urn. You switch it on, the light comes on, and as soon as it boils, it will switch off by itself.